think we pulled off something that people didn't think would be possible, but we did it in a manner befitting the Gambia and the OIC. So without further ado, I'd like to call on His Excellency Ambassador Yankuba Diba, Chief Executive Officer of the OIC Secretariat, to make his remarks. Ambassador, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman Tunkara, honorable ministers, Foreign Affairs, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, Honorable Dr. Sise, Minister for the summit, which was just held. My task today is just to tell you that we've had a very, very successful summit by all counts, both logistical, management, in terms of also because summits are evaluated not by the beauty of the roads and so on and so forth. It's by the quality of declaration, quality of communiques that arise from the summit. And I'm here to tell you that we've come up with the best outcomes that any summit can expect. We have been lucky to attend several such summits and extraordinary summits, but I must say that by rating, this particular summit, the 15th Summit of Heads of State, is by no means one of the best that the OIC has ever organized. So we are here today to bring you up to speed with some of the developments. And of course, if you have any questions, we will be more than happy to provide answers to your questions. So without wasting much time, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming. And we hope that you might be able to get all the answers to the questions that you would come with. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for those remarks. Before we continue, I also recognize the attendance of members of the OIC Secretariat and also members of the LOC of the Banjul OIC Summit. I would now like to call on His Excellency Dr. Ismail Assise, Minister of Information, to give his remarks. Doctor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. This gives me great pride and honor to stand here before you to be part of this very important press conference. The summit has ended after 5 years of planning, and I think my address will focus on what is it that Gambia can gain from this politically. But before I start, I'd first like to congratulate His Excellency the President for assuming the role of the chair of the OIC. This is a very, very important position. It's important both for the President but also for the Gambia. And I'm sure that he will provide strategic leadership for the organization in fulfilling its mandate in providing unity and solidarity for member states of the OIC. We also thank the President for his vision, his leadership, his support, and his steadfastness in supporting the Secretariat, but also the board, and also the entire process to ensure that the summit was successful. So we thank the President for that. Now, the OIC is the second largest organization in the world, behind the US. And this gathering also, which happened here this weekend, is the second largest gathering of world leaders that can happen anywhere in the world. And we are confident and we are happy that all 57 countries were represented in the summit, which doesn't happen quite often. And remember, apart from the fact that it has 57 countries, the aggregate entire population of the OIC itself is close to 2 billion people. I mean, if you accumulate the population of all the 57 OIC member countries, from Indonesia to Nigeria, you put them together, it's about 2 billion people, 1.8, 1.9 billion people. Now, dealing with issues as diverse as obviously the peace process in Palestine, it's a very complex issue. Peace in Sudan, Yemen, Lebanon, and other countries that are today undergoing turmoil. Not only that, issues of Islamophobia affecting the Muslim Ummah, issues of attack against Muslims, issues of attack against minorities in countries like India, in countries like Myanmar. And we also, Gambia took the lead in taking Myanmar to the International Court of Justice, invoking the Genocide Convention, that what is happening there against the Rohingyas was tantamount to genocide. And we won. That's a huge, huge achievement for the Gambia. Issues like climate change, science and technology, women, children, and family issues. These are broad-based issues that the OIC has to contend with under the leadership of His Excellency Adama Barrow as chair of the OIC. And we are confident that he has the vision and he has the capability and the leadership qualities to lead the OIC to be dealing with all these issues. We have no doubt about that. And the fact that Gambia now will be on the world map, trying to negotiate peace processes around the world, itself is pride for every Gambian. And I think work has started. Remember also on the sidelines of the OIC were bilaterals, where the president had to meet other presidents also to discuss issues affecting not only the OIC, but also the Muslim Ummah. It means that Gambia will be on the world map, dealing with issues Palestine, pushing for an immediate and sustained ceasefire in Gaza, pushing for humanitarian access to humanitarian aid in Gaza, pushing for peace in Sudan, and so on and so forth. And this is really good for the Gambia.
will come with their big contracts. If we have done that today, we'll be in big trouble. So we're asking like 50,000 euro per month. But we refused. I said we can do it. Whatever these people can do, we can do it better than them. If it is in terms of mobilizing resources, we have friends all over the world. And Alhamdulillah, we have gained that respect and people listen to us. And we travel around the world. Some of our partners came to our rescue. And I want to single out here the transport of all the secretariat from Jeddah to the Gambia, and even took on board some member states representatives. I want to thank the Islamic Republic of Mauritania for their tremendous support. Senegal, President told us when Gambia is organizing, Senegal left. And whatever you need to make this summit successful, we work so that we put it at your disposal. I had a lot of speculation thinking that we are saying that no, they came as brothers to support to make sure that we have success. The Kingdom of Morocco, His Majesty the King, Mohammed VI, gave instruction that all the support we needed, they should provide it. Even the catering, he gave $1 million for the catering. And the team came all the way from Morocco to support the and in many other areas. So I think this is the opportunity to say thank you to all those who supported us and to salute also the Secretariat for the wonderful work that we do. I also want to especially mention our ambassador and permanent representative to the OIC, Ambassador Salah. He's been passionate, very much passionate in having this summit in Uganda. And he gave it all out to make sure that things happen. So we want to thank him, and he has gained a lot of respect within the diplomatic circle in Riyadh and Jeddah. So he's also the vice, and people listen to him. And we are here today also is thanks to his persistence. For those who are familiar with summit, I don't know whether here that well. Sometimes this is, I always say that diplomacy is done behind closed doors. If you notice, Jan is here, he was sales. We normally don't adopt the resolutions and communicate in public. But here we did it. The press was present. This is not behind closed doors. Because there are a lot of controversies usually before the adoption. But this time around, we were able to thrash out all the issues. So we were confident enough to have it in public, to do it in public, and for President to proceed with the project. So in all aspects, this summit was a very successful summit. And I see once again the opportunity to thank all the Gambia from all walks of life for the tremendous support. Organizing an event of this magnitude is not easy, but we all gave out what we can to make it a success. Even building this tower and building started with one person. So each of your contributions, be it the press, the security, the protocol, all led to the successful holding of this summit. So I want to thank you, and I will wait for the question. Usually I don't talk too much. I will do good, and I want to congratulate all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And also, as far as the events, I want to contribute to the Honourable Minister's tireless work in this building during the summit. And a lot of you could not see it, but other bilaterals that him and his team are doing as well. And it's a testament to how important this summit was for the Gambia. So thank you very much for your work. Now I'd like to call on Mr. Falo Federa. He's the head of brand and communications for the Gambia OIC Secretariat, to give you some facts and figures for the summit. Mr. Federa?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. Good afternoon to all of you. I will begin my remarks by recognizing the presence of the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Dr. Buru Tangara. I would also like to recognize the presence of my former lecturer, Dr. Ismail Sise, now the Minister for Information. I would also like to recognize the presence of my boss, Ambassador Yankuba Divan, and my colleagues in management of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, the staff also present here, the LOC, Mr. Sertijan Sala representing, and all the distinguished guests and members of the media present here today. Just like Mr. Speaker said, my name is Fali Fadera. I am the head of brand and communication and also was responsible for all conferencing matters during the summit activity. Today, my task is very simple because my boss gave the high-level information and the duties and the tasks. But I just want to join him and the honorable ministers to, first of all, congratulate the President of the Republic and the country as a whole for one, successfully hosting one of the most important geopolitical events in the world. Dr. said it is the second largest intergovernmental gathering after the United Nations General Assembly. This is one of a kind in our history. I don't think since we got independence, we've managed to host something of this magnitude in the history of our country. So it's a moment of big pride for all of us. And more importantly, Gambia is assuming the chairmanship of the OIC for the next 3 years. I like to tell people that the possibilities that lie ahead in the Gambia OIC relationship starts with the conclusion of the summit. This is just the beginning. The summit is just the beginning of what is possible between the Gambia and the membership of the OIC. The potential is huge. Just like Dr. Sita said, 1.8 to 2 billion people are part of the OIC family from 4 continents, from Africa to Asia to Europe and in the Americas. Most people don't know this. You have countries that are members of the OIC in the Americas, Guyana and Suriname, etc., etc. And in addition to that, we have special representatives from even Western countries in Europe and parts of North America. So this is a huge opportunity for Gambia to make its mark on the world stage, just like the minister said. And we are really very grateful for that. Personally, I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to my boss for the trust he bestowed in me in being part of this all-important national event and for giving us the opportunity, all of us. If you know the OIC setup, you will know that we are a very youthful team. I think the average youth there the average age there is very, very youthful. And our team is very small, we are less than 20. But nonetheless, we are able to pull it out with a great success thanks to the visionary leadership and guidance of our able CEO, guided by a very competent and proactive board chaired by the President of the Republic himself. And today what I want to do is to take you through some of the things that we have managed to accomplish in the run-up to the summit, during the summit, and what our plans are for the future. As you know, we were set up under the office of the President by an act of Parliament. The President is the chair of the OIC board, supported by other ministers from relevant government agencies like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Works, Infrastructure, Information, etc., etc. So once we were set up, our task principally was divided into 3 fundamental areas: resource mobilization, project infrastructure implementation, and event planning of the summit itself. And for you to successfully measure the performance of any endeavor, you have to look at the key performance indicators and judge them by that. And if you look at the Secretariat and our track record, we have done exceptionally well in all these areas. For example, in terms of the resource mobilization, we've managed to raise well over 350 million US dollars, which were plowed back into very significant socio-economic development projects, starting with roads, the airport, this conference center, and a host of other sectors. The contribution of the Secretary is only limited to the 5 strategic projects that I've mentioned, but even the softer components like health, security, the media, etc., etc., all of those things I'll come to later. And you look at the events planning. will join the minister to say it's one of the most successful public events in the history of our country. Don't even take my word for it. If you had had chats with even the guests, the organizers being the OIC secretary, all of them were incredibly pleased with the performance and the logistics and the arrangements that they saw during their time. In fact, during our informal chats, most of them really confessed that we exceeded their expectation in terms of what they saw, in terms of the orderly manner, in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the arrangement. So as a country, this is indeed a very, very proud moment for us. But I cannot conclude without also recognizing and thanking the efforts of all the people that participated from all walks of life. When we started, we were very clear that this is a national event, and as such, it required the participation of all and sundry. And looking back, I think it is fair to say the whole country participated. Everybody put their weight behind the successful hosting of the summit. In fact, by our account, this is the single largest deployment of state and non-state actors from both the civil and the military sectors of the country. More than 5,000 to 6,000 people participated. This includes the security personnel, the state protocol officers, the event runners that we employed, the staff that from the OIC, the LOC members, etc., etc. All sectors of the country participated fully and supported this endeavor, which we are really, really, truly grateful for. In terms of the accreditation and the delegation that came, we registered and accredited more than 4,500 individuals. And this includes about 45 VVIPs and VIPs, including presidents, prime ministers, vice presidents, and permanent representatives of member countries to the OIC. All the affiliated bodies of the OIC were also represented at the highest level, and this includes the Gulf Cooperation Council, the Arab League, the Islamic Development Bank, the Muslim World League, among other crucial organizations. So this is indeed a huge success for this country, and I will not wrap up also without recognizing the trickle-down effect of this summit coming down to the country. Just like I said, this is just the beginning. We will continue to appreciate the impact of the summit in our socioeconomic development in the weeks and months to come. But just to give you a quick snapshot of some of the things that we have done that have started impacting lives and livelihood in the country. More than 90% of the contracts that we have issued as part of our events planning went to Gambian companies. And in most cases, companies owned by young people, young individuals. For example, CS Painting, a very young guy, who was given the task of making sure the place is renovated in terms of the painting and other stuff. The company that was also responsible for the cleaning, the logistics, the tents that you see outside, the flags that you see, all the other logistical and administrative arrangements that we are able to pull through were all provided by Gambian companies. More than 90%. That, in my view, is unprecedented. And it also shows what we are capable of as a country. We were able to show the world that we were thrown a challenge that we rise to it. And when it comes to conferencing, as you are aware, the Gambia is positioning itself as one of the leading conference destinations in the sub-region. And we have proven to the world that we have what it takes to be able to carry out any of these things, things of this nature. So apart from that, we also train in our preparations more than 7,000 individuals. And this includes more than 3,000 security personnel. It includes more than 200 people from the health sector, and this includes 110 doctors, 79 nurses, 24 public health officials, 16 pharmacists, 16 lab technicians, etc., etc. In terms of our security sector, also more than 3,630 people were deployed as part of our security operation. So as you can see, the impact that we've had, the immediate impact, is immense. But we will really begin to appreciate the significance of this on Gambian life in the weeks and months to come. So without much ado, I will stop here. Just like the Honorable Minister and my CEO, ministers and my CEO said, We invite you to ask questions that you may have, and we are more than willing to answer them as much as possible. Mr. Chairperson, thank you very much. Thank you all for your kind attention. Okay, so just to wrap up, what we mentioned is local languages, Marinolu, Nali Kondong, Nali Bismillah Di, Ni Jamam Ola Kachato, Kabanan Gambia OIC Secretariat of Kundabaro, Memphilenti Koloni Sato Kono, Kanaki Municipality Kono, Dutu Fali Federal Di, Kevin Maral Baron and Chokinolo Kola Di, Gambia OIC Secretariat. Bidun, Dolen Nagale and Kacha Kola Menalo Kola, Soda. Membe dendi in dunia dem bala mealam ko lepp fata gambe banko kan jente men keda OIC Banjul Summit OIC kafu wa keda dunia be den kafuti ila den tan ani dulu jamo na nyatu ko la den tan dulu jamo men keda gambe banko kan jente bi men yalam ko len tamba jam wala mu honorable minister men do mara den bantalan ko lu jemola Dr. Mamadou Tangara Dr. Ismaila Cissé mealam ka ko mara Kibaru ni chokinyoro la kadia mujale masa kunda frantuela ani mfomo la boss nemu ambassador yang kubati dalam kakile nyatum kake magande OIC secretary la nemu bunda di masa kunda yang sasi purka nyatum kake bangko parenduro la ni demba mealam ko wala ke naga na dendi wala mo purni mol secretary demani lanya la ani fanan kan kontana ni sewo fanan yitandi demani ta la nyama kontanta ba ko sewo la karo nga gambele ko nga jankane nga gambele fanan faraman ci dunia ñako mo jamalu wala nata kam jinna banko kan dem kamaga ni dem ci ba ñago ko lu kabo OIC banko lu bedo men ci ada banko anduru wara wala di kabo dunia karo bela ko afrika la ko asia la ko america la ko europe ko OIC banko di won soto je andu mo banko di won fanan ko la nata alfal fanan so men ñago ko ibota bankolo do men de Europe American la ka dunia la ko fana ye ita pamon OIC la ko so akeda bunya na horma badi ka fo bolu mo be kontan hani dama fama tiyolu men mo OIC gambe secretary famati e kontan ba te dum tawo dem fana nata jamali ala se woy tan kontan mo be na na jamal fama ye ko ye men tara jang ani ye men jang ay ko ni lan so kita kontano so ko ba di banko ka dum gambia na la ya nyanya na ita ni lako ton fanan na ku jamala anu nga ala tan wala baake na annabi jay be molu fanan jayida ani ta kondo doftan ni his excellency president adama baroma na la masakunda ka dum atele nyaaka ka bi na ko ku nono mun ko ko anota no ala nyaaka ka ala ko anala sawro na la wakilo ka to mo fene di men OIC pare ko no ya ko aba ko ko na banya ay committee londi minister to la karo la men ala ko ay sasi pour OIC ko ta ya tambi ni ko be anata ta fendi na ka sula lo ka ko la ba so ni na nyaaw na nya so de ba ko la ta la kara ta ko la fana ba ko do no fana ala chairman ya si la ta kan kadu nani be wala kum pa fana yi min fi dije wala bu ko gambia le kala silam ko ay sila nyaton ko gambia le kala sila ko ay sila nyaton ka sila kan ando gambia le kala sila kan o sanji andi o sanji ko ku jama pa ndaje be alam ka se gambia ba ko na fa ba ko ko men te ta ka ko mo le nyani o ay sila wala kum pa wala de wala mu kuma men biya OIC tamala na kumpa lebe dati kila na papa hina ran ko lebe la gambia ni OIC ko kon kadu dama ni kola ni sanji sabon lebe kila gambia la na ton kaya wa andi kita ko ku jama ba kun taw kono kaya ba fanan be la nyaago gambia kadu ni ko ku soro dati OIC la ko jiko be je ko gambia be lebe nyaaton kaya kala ko OIC fanan lebe mo men yalla ko katu kila ni wa pota wala jamal fanan jiko be ko bebe kala gande banko kan jande yino ni fekk mal ni yalla ko bebe den ni OIC na ko gande be dula la ko na jana ala na ite ko ko do la do ko dala fana de marali banko parandiro la andi no parandiro ko kata ku jamal le ke pour que ni domata ka sonni dal hakilo ba ka ni santan lan ko na dati ni bu ne folo wala mo pour ka ñaaru tani jiwa bunda protocol ta ke lan protocol mi ñaaram ke mo na fala do OIC member bul wala ko ni OIC somi do na ta ta Gambia ma fanje to banko dum man na faadi je wota man na faso ni le be do sondo mo ko kabit mo men na da andum be ko ku kela ka sembe ni wala na jiolu ni silolu ni airport protocol ni ku ko dama na ko dege yeke pour ce que fait ndalo ko dalla jam ka bolu na fa hanni somi to ko da andu ni mbadi aliaji ni mbadi hadin hayri silo sila ko dama be do ko ka airport nani conference center wol be do karo so kaje ko na fa kino wala na da tenden fana ni somi to pare ni do ko ngay dan ni nasara kan fana ko ni aji de ni jibe do projet ko contrat ko na ñaaro mo wonna ti ni pare ni do ko ni kemela mu si blan tam ko do be gamben company le yem mapay ka jam conference center ni ka pare ni ka bulu mo ñati gamben company le yem mapay ka dulani senen gamben company wala ni tento lo ñaay ni bebe gamben company wala yem mapay ka jeko capital mi ñalo ko ni sam ni landi wolbe mo gamben company asobil mi ñalo ko police le wala na do ko ngale wala tu security officer ye asobil men le joro mo men sam abbe kew Gambian company. So for Bunganya Valley the Grand Banko, Karum some of them that you Kodo to be to the Banko. But often I ended the Banko. And you medium to Sivana and Sinsa, Gambian old Sakima. So Lapan Bedi Banko Dimole, Awara Siara, but I come up in a middle killer follow. You never know la Carola Bella will not. Nahaimor Menda Kanyam for more willing nani for Kemedu. No wonder register. ni accredit na kaydo dia wala ma be tan mo temo mo la de par wol kono fana na tan dum dam lo sudo ni yalla ke dara kanam ko dum tan kuli fula dum tan keno woro men si ato de demandi wala fana na ma be ni dam be jam ko banko ko OIC banko do ka bo OIC kuke banko kono do ni yalla ke ka fa affiliated organization wol da be en haymaro kono kono banko nyaado ko bi jamal fana na men tara kanyam fo mo tannani ani lulu ka ko DVIP wala mo non tan kumare ani mo tan ñaari baaji way sa ko kon wala ma be de jam andu wala bo kono wala le president wala abol kono wala le prime minister abol kono wala le vice president wala ani fana adu kumala kay ko mo fana ko OIC ka fo la permanent representative tanna tandu ani woro wala be ma be de dem ikaje fana ko OIC ka fo fana ku kenyolu men boko ni Gulf Cooperation Council men mo arabu do ka fo la ka fo badi kada ko Arab League Islamic Development Bank World Muslim League ni be mo ka fo le ni nyalo be OIC ko ko wol be le na e ma be da tam de be le na ko le na de ma be da tam so na fa men be di asimbo wa mo fana ni dal no mo ko ni naw ko ni na na ka ma be ni dawa will be any function experience only. You will be more. Ye timina diamen taraja. Ye sonia min sarat gambega. You want to have a call in the Carola, a call in na de murder. Alada Malaya will be them follow. And the Gambia to jump and the basin for them. So the family began. So you know, Kumadan and another B, who can make it and the Mola, coming up in Yane, the Luntan Alpha Albeja, Banco Alpha Albeja. Ni tiba di na ni karo soro se ni karo ke na kata la kira kuma ta ke jadi Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fidela. Before we get to the questions, I would like to just add a couple more facts. We want to make sure that everybody is happy. And that is for the chairperson of the local organizing committee, Madam Adela Binta Sidibe. She led a team. We have one of the members of the committee here, but she had a team in the local organizing committee that been working for the past 5 years to get this done. So we'd like to give thanks to her. Also, for that to mention young Gambians, I'd like to say like 2 young Gambians. One is Yuski, he's the photographer running around here, and STS, Shakti Janiseka, and doing the video. They were the ones responsible for all the official videos and photographs that the media committee was sharing with everybody. And also, all the private media houses who came together to support GRTS and their partners to ensure we had an international standard broadcast of all the proceedings, as well as the
and that was it. I just want to put on record, Gambian media behaved with such professionalism that people didn't believe existed. So I want to thank you to all of the media houses in this country. They were accredited, they came here and reported on the summit. You did a fantastic job and we're all very proud of you. On that note, we have time, we have time for a few questions. If you'd like to just stand up, say your name and where you're from. Okay, you can, it's loud here, you can. Go ahead, the name?
Okay, let's start off with this video. Thank you. Now that the summit is on, have successful like they all organize.
Sorry, we can't hear you. Hold on, let me hear you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Osama from the social. Now, my question is, now that this summit has been held successfully, like we all had it, but the construction of the platform has which is very important. So many Gambians out there are asking if this project will go ahead for some. And this question is directed to this city.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. We have all the questions and then we'll have some of them on the second. We have two more, please. You and then the gentleman.
Thank you. I am Markman from Korea newspaper. So my question is, Gambia assuming the chairmanship of the OIC, what is considered as the principal tax for the president, the OIC secretarial, and the Gambia at large? What is the principal tax now?
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. I am Umar Bar from the Standard. I have 4 questions, 2 for the Minister of Information and 2 for the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The first question is, the first 2 are for the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Countries have started cutting trade and diplomatic ties with Israel. Under President Adam Barrow's chairmanship, will this be an option for the Ghana? The OIC Banjul Summit projects are still ongoing. Is it possible for the Gambia to host the summit again in the near future when all the projects will have been completed? I ask this question because countries like Morocco and Senegal have hosted it more than once. For Information Minister, Dr. Ismail Sisi, the government has brought nearly 100 vehicles for the summit. What is going to be the fate of those vehicles after the summit? The final one is with regards to the OIC projects. Will the OIC projects be audited? If yes, will the outcomes of the audit be shared with the public?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before answering the question, I also want to single out about Turkey for the support they given in the training of our security personnel in Indonesia and training our protocol officers. On the question on Israel, we do not intend to cut off our ties with Israel. Our philosophy is friend with all and enemy with none. And Gambia's declaration is anchored on non-alignment, neutrality, and the promotion of dialogue. How can you have dialogue with someone when you decide to push him aside? When you don't have any opportunity to sit with him? And the president, as he mentioned, he said now he's the boss driver. I would say he's the captain of the boat. So it's incumbent on all the passengers to make sure that we don't rock the boat so that we can reach our destination safely. And to reach that destination, being the objective that we assign for ourselves to bring a peaceful world, we can do it only through dialogue. We will continue to to work with all the partners, but Gambia strongly believe in the two-state solution. And whatever and whenever a country, even though you are our friend, you do something that is not in line with our principles, we do not hesitate to condemn it. So we have no intention of cutting ties with Israel, and we do not act by reacting to situation based on the reaction of others. Gambia is a sovereign state. Whatever decision we take it without the pressure or influence of anyone. On hosting the summit, well, I think there is a confusion there. You can have as much summit as you want when you are the chair. But the ordinary summit, this is the ordinary summit that gave us the chairmanship. If the situation warrants it, we can convene an extraordinary summit here and have discussion over it. You can also have a summit, even in Jeddah, where the headquarters is located, under Gambia's chairmanship. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to react to this. Mr. Fadela highlighted some of the strategies that we have outlined, we have planned to undertake. The hotel was one of the projects. Of course, accommodation is very important for the summit. However, we had a plan B, and our plan B had worked. We have identified airspace that we really needed for this end of summit. However, let me make it very clear that the hotel project was a unique one that is not the same in terms of scope and character with all others. Like, for instance, the road projects are all government projects. For the hotel project, you would recall the government did not have the money to be able to build a new hotel. They had wanted to take a loan at the beginning, but then the loan was not concessional, so we couldn't get a new hotel built on our own. So we therefore explored different possibilities. And one of the possibilities that was identified was a PPP, public-private partnership, where we had 100% equity, but 90% of the equity was supposed to have been provided by a concessionaire. And then 10% of the equity, which is the land, was contributed by the Gambia government. So therefore, we created what is called an SPV, special purpose vehicle. In economic terms or in business terms, that means company. And that company is neither government 100% nor belonging entirely to the concessionaire. So we had a joint partnership, and we created a company called IMOGAM. IMOLAND is the concessionaire, GAM is Gambia. So it's a company like any other company. It's no longer the same in terms of character. So the company exists legally. It's a different animal from government. The project started, but it had some delays. Notwithstanding, we had our own plans and we went ahead. So if I may answer your question directly, IMOGAM as a company still exists legally. The project site is there, work has started, it has stalled, but it is expected that the project should be completed. So as you can see, it is evident enough. The summit went ahead using all the resources that we have in the country. So that's what I want to say about the hotel. So the 5-star hotel is a joint venture project, which includes two partners, the government on one hand and the private concessionaire on another hand, forming a company called IMOGAM. So IMOGAM has its own directors. It's no longer a Gambia government, purely Gambia government project. It's no longer an OIC project. What we did, as our secretarial mandate demands, is to raise resources. And that is one of our resources that we raised. It's a completely independent legal animal that has nothing to do with us in particular. So it's a company that has directors. If anybody wishes to know anything about that company, I think the best thing would be talk to the board of directors of that company. Okay. On the issue of the audited accounts, I just want to make it very clear, since our fund, we have been audited annually, or at least biannually, been audited, and our audits have always been unqualified. It goes without saying that with such inflow of funds, especially from the government, because the government entirely, let me say this again, entirely funded the events planning aspect of the summit. This was not, the money was not provided by any government. Over 500 million had been pumped into this by the Gambia government, and as Mr. Pereira said, it all went back into the economy because Gambian companies were contracted to provide the services. So naturally, this is public money. Wherever public money goes, it is a public tax auditor. So the OIC Secretariat is quite prepared to go to the auditor tomorrow morning, if that is needed. We are prepared, all our processes are foolproof. They are in line with government regulations. We have a very competent finance department, and they make sure that everything conforms with the rules. So we will be audited, and I'm making this pronouncement, and we are prepared even tomorrow morning to undergo annual exercise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO. Very powerful, inspiring, and assuring comments there. I just wanted to address quickly two things. One stems from the question of the hotel, but looking at other projects that we have. Because there's this misconception out there, or this idea that now that the projects are completed, or the summit is completed, projects that are related to the OIC, this is not the our thinking going into the OIC as a whole, and these infrastructure projects in particular, is to look at them from the perspective of legacy projects. We want these projects to be here to benefit Gambians long after the summit is gone. So the road construction that is on the way will continue to go ahead until its logical conclusion. The water and electricity project that is also on the way will also continue. Nothing is going to stop it. All the funds that are needed for these projects to be successfully implemented have been fully mobilized. They are there, and they will be used and utilized for the purpose that they are intended. So there is nothing like that. These projects will continue. They will continue to be implemented until they are concluded successfully. This applies to the road projects, Rapid Harden and other road projects. This applies in the case of the water and electricity companies and all the other aspects that are under the OIC umbrella. So, body will not come in from a company from Mr. Bayer, Mr. Hotel of Kola, and in Karo, Hotel of Kola, Nadia, Sani Alco, Somito Nitara, Nabos, Ambassador, Dubai, Javiku, Titan Dalako, Somito, Hotel of Kola, and Nalako, Ama function Fundala, and Jiko Duka, the Tendon Nalaka. Lafako, Kilmona from Bambano, Kaitan Niko. Na project ko wol fona na ko la rente ka fa bro ko solido bandale project ko wol lu mel de solido la ngo ko sina do ko lu amani ko fa fa ko de dan na man taw abe nyana wol ko ni project ko to nyalla ko ni di toya solido la toya no project ko lu kere kere pour ni solido la ko la ni demba bari project de ban yalla ko fana wado man nan di tabigal ke dogu be yilla kam be dana be jikam wala mu project Gambian will be a Fanna Family. Somito Kola and project of the Gambian on Napalana. Will put the Nero. What are the main project will be project in the Maniaco in a habitat like the Gambian on Napa. Sanji Jama Somito Kola. Called project of the Silo. Journey Pura Carol. You know, the airport VIP now. In conference and the Maniaco Glory. Then we found to put another Somito in Papa. No kakurome ko do ku jan so mi conference center ko ala damare ka bi mi santandila CEO seke na sero di ani do ko men sia da dollars billion kemi di ngawle do ko conference center and the side ko Gambia fana be faramasa kam ba ke ni na conference la karola afrika la jama'a so na fara men be ni project ko kunna
sign for the bullet on an apartment for mama for the call and man for. So you be able to predict the down with the tenant and nafa, and the tenant like the doku, having project all the community, you move and now the man that some go down, had this to go down, and the father can let them, the Gambia will find came up. On the question of Gambia, the next 3 years for the Gambia, just like the Honorable Minister said, Gambia has a very big vision for the organization. But we are also mindful of the fact that in order to tap into that potential, it requires a national effort. And just like the minister said sometime in one of his remarks, we are going to mobilize the fullest capacity of this country, including the public and the private sector, the civil society organizations, probably even have a national conference on how we can fully tap into this potential to make sure whatever we do, because the OIC also comes with a lot of possibilities. They are engaged in science and technology research, in business, trade cooperation, investment. There was also an investment forum alongside the summit here in the country. So you can see the possibilities are here. And as a country where others see the challenge, we see an opportunity. And under leadership, we are very convinced that we will mobilize the fullest potential of the state to make sure we leverage on all these opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think I will ask 2 questions from the Standard newspaper. One of them was the vehicles that the government bought for the OIC summit. What did you come up with vehicles? There is nothing concrete yet from the government. I think in the subsequent days, we will meet as a board to decide to manage the proactive effort to make information, to give you every information. The second question, I think you can answer in terms of the budget. Obviously, in line with government's effort to promote transparency and accountability of your budget. Remember, an event of this magnitude, public funds are used, must be respected. Those that will be public as well. So we hope that, and I'm happy that you have told that they're ready to do the public administration. That is my one.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, standard ask 4, they should have asked 1. Now, we're bringing the end to the press conference right now. I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable, sorry, Minister wants to make another. There's so many people to thank.
But I want to thank the MOFA team and for working with a lot of dedication and sacrifice on a very difficult time. So we put a lot of pressure on them, but live up to expectation. I can say it will be an expectation. But that shows what I always tell them, that the center of success smells like team spirit. When we work as a team, there is no reason we cannot succeed. And I think Gambians have demonstrated that during this period of hosting the summit. And there are a lot of opportunities. My colleague, Dr. Cisse, mentioned that there are a lot of opportunities. Because we've signed a lot of bilateral agreements. And there are a lot of countries that are interested in enhancing their relationship with Gambia. Many of the delegates, we have many delegates. This is not only their first trip to Gambia, but for Africa. So, as you rightly mentioned, Gambia is on the map, and the whole world is looking up to us. Already, I always say the UN Secretary, and I always say that we want Gambia to be a success story in this agenda of sustaining peace. And today, being the chair of the OIC, and that's why it's important for us to be frank so that we can engage them. So to all the parties, we have our plans, but we will reveal that the chairman has decided which one will be his priorities, but I can assure that will be engaged in many mediations, because we've already been solicited in many mediations, and people have a lot of trust and confidence in the president. Just recently, he was awarded as the most peaceful president in Africa. That's a huge recognition. So I think we are ready and set to assume our role with the responsibility and the duty that it requires.
Thank you, Honorable. And I can attest to what the Honorable Minister said.
I was chatting with one delegate, and it was his first time in Africa. And he was looking around the conference center, and he said he could not believe such a thing actually existed in Africa. He was that happily surprised. So that shows you the level of work that is coming. But I've been told we can have 2 more questions. Yes, you in the back there. Leave one.
I am Anshuman National KTV. This is for the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. You did state Gambia's position as regards to our relationship with Israel. All the resolution that was adopted at the end of the Banjul summit is the OIC basically urged member countries to impose sanctions on Israel. I just want to know whether this will have an influence on our foreign policy with regards to Israel. If not, how does it make us? Bearing in mind that we are chair of the OIC.
Dopo si cambia America, well, that question of the Minister of Information and Head of Communication, Mr. Ali Padere. First question, Doctor, I did a summit in Cassie, 1 day to the summit, only about the social media. At the net, the Italian can move the delegation on Aragania, soon Arokela. Tigran dari sahabat dengan so still more than what kibaro who kibaro ni foto nya second question abidang kembali pada boleh itu ya boleh jamu almost $350 million mobilized for OIC summit falsa for boleh jealous center in terms of capacity building in terms of production in the roads in terms of production in the navic nice will break down more. Thank you.
Final question.
My name is Kimo Kani from the OIC newspaper. In the final communique that was the member countries were implored to make sure that they actively participate in the global supply chain. How prepared is the Gambia's participation into that global supply chain? Who still be productive to us? And the second question will also in the OIC members we are also encouraged to make sure that they create with one another also invest within the OIC member states. What is the anticipation of the Gambia government in trying to practice interest opportunities from the member countries?
Thank you. From QTV.
Voice.
Voice. QTV, yeah. We do not intend to impose any sanction on anyone. This is a resolution, it's a call, but we, as I said, we remain a sovereign state, and we have our foreign policy guided by our non-alignment. And as I said, we cannot engage parties if we start taking positions. I always say that diplomacy is not work. You understand the intricacies of the diplomacy. We are very mindful of imposing something, taking prayer for it. On the Yenin Garon, the good Mauritania, Korean Sunaro, Korean, or Sunaro, Japora hotel le bato mun na mai si le ke ga ni ton fa ma ke ya ni mo do do para do fa ni ke ra ko ma unfortunately what happened but in green tare ni ko ma ke ku ba parce que green tare ni dra ku na mo do ko ha telefono sa ko me se tare ko ni ko mu ko ko gambe la ministre ni se kana ko ta ni do ka ta ni ko ka ta ni no do Nini delegate soldier ka manda para itu wala na nila ka mata ro ka sefo di kuriya pendor ma to wo ka ba fanna mu ya ko aka ka balo sa fara ma ko bari da fara ko gambe mo sun bija mo bija mo be do bija so bari to ma ko ku ba di man da ko pa ko ba ko ya di ko ona din mo ko ko sa sa ko no da dai minista ni ni jure minista ko ni mo ke di ne ala ele se da ne ba president ne no bari mo le awara da man ko ku ba di ya ai ko su akwai na da telefona ta kwa sa san mo be review work da kuma da su ko da ya wannan ani wannan filin mai dawada da kuma mu ala tan da ko kilo makaran da ku ga wasu ko ko kuma da ba su ya ba obe ne
Thank you very much.
Thank you. To answer my question, I'd like to add on to what the Honorable Minister said about this. Muguri nanda karala, nawa tuko. Na muguri nusi. Wenyewe kila mtu mako mikalo ko. Ni moto lekina. Guru mala kanto. Angano polisi kana kala de ko jara kare ko. Now, with regard to your question on the global supply chains, I think one of the important aspects of global supply chain is providing mechanisms to ensure that consumers have access to goods. And Gambia is doing well in that front. As you know, currently Gambia is investing heavily in expanding Gambia ports, but also building a deep sea port, and that will also help in enhancing global supply chain. So that Gambia becomes a hub, a maritime hub for the movement of particularly but also to Latin America, also to Europe, also to Asia. But Gambia is strategically located. That is why we remember the rest of the area of agriculture in Gambia, the river Gambia. When the British came, they were always interested in the river as a maritime. So Gambia is a hub for maritime, and I think the Gambia government has a strategy to harness that potential and so Gambia becomes a global supply chain. With regards to investment, I think investors want predictability. Investors want to have confidence in the country and its market. And what gives that confidence is peace and stability of the country. And Gambia has done exceptionally well in proving to the world that Gambia is stable and peaceful, not only in the short term, but also in the foreseeable future. That's what investors want. Before an investor comes and invests $10 billion in a country, he or she must be sure that his or her money is safe. So Gambia too, maintaining peace, having a peace army and stability in the long term, as indicated in every other international index that looks at peace and the maintenance of peace, is a complete definition of foreign direct investment. So we have no doubt that Gambia will benefit from this. And recently, during the speech of the president of the International Islamic Development Bank, that $253 billion is sitting waiting for poor countries to benefit. I'm sorry for calling the Gambia poor country, but that is how it is. But for countries like Gambia to benefit from it. And I think through that, we promote trade, we promote foreign direct investment. And I think Gambia is well placed to use and harness our bilateral opportunities to ensure that trade happens in the OIC. And I think I was discussing with many countries came forward to express interest in coming and investing in Gambia, but also having trade bilateral between Gambia and those countries in the OIC. So Gambia is well placed to promote global supply chains by expanding our current port infrastructure, but also building a new deep sea port at Sanya, but also through stability, investor confidence, consistent policy environment, in medium and long term, Gambia is ready to ensure that we attract FDI, but also to promote trade within the OIC. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Mr. Kadera. I think this is the last one.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Tinkara. Mbe nininkaro do kijang ako kodo men dundaje 300 million o atata nyam la for wala jabi. So going up nyam 350 million more than mensi ada wala $1 million kimsaba talulu nga ko no ko kono ko wala minimum ka dum project ko wala mo project ma wala mo ni sala project ko infrastructure project ko jeune courant conference center airport lounge any project ko mo yalla ko do wala to hotel ko na ni fancy fa ko do So Okoro in terms of capacity building, même ka ukula ta ke la lundo semmontiel ani ke la farmo semmontiel wol mambo 350 million o bota 500 million dollars me ala ko wole binda men so plan ko comme CEO ya fa wole mu andu ko ngafa nyame mensia Gambia mo wulilu no wole la karam semmontiel ko bunda ko woni kono min si adam bili sabati na protocol officiel do kono min si adam mo kino fuladi da doctorol min do so do kono min si adam mo kino fuladi fana doctorol min do so do men train ke pare min do kamba mo kene mo tambe de woni doctorol do senior doctor woni no so man ko kino mo taworo len fana no so men ya ko le karam lab technician mo tanni woro pharmacist mo tanni woro ni nata na hospital bi fanando pour que lu tawul dia ke comment dia la sabatu blan ni kira ko tawul men sera mo keno fula de ngol de karandi wa ni nata protocol la karolo men sera mo keno fula de arani ngol de fana karandi wa so e kam ko na fal men yam ko wol de kunna to karandi ro ko dama simbo wadda ba kadum do ngamen de wala ko OIC na fa ko yala ba ko ni ta tara so mi do na ta tan da gamme do ne kan andu ni karandi do dawol fana kola na kodo fana sigale na di bunda jamal banko kanjang pour que sembentia na tanko bunda mo ni security agency den si ara dollar si million tan sabari no wala le den si ara wala ube bi ya bindi ka jora mo sang ka ni ko mo sang ni ko ko ka je ko na lunta on se tanka ka tarakane so na doctor bunda mo na ko jara no bunda den si ara dollar si million tan sabari more than 30 million dollars was invested in the health sector and na famolu melu sang ye famolu melu sang ye joro karola adabo ko woni bi famolu dina ko dul na manon so gende banko kanja in fact ni nga tara man ke ko la de ma de ani ala la man ta den dum ni bi so na ala ka ben so ko maren ka ko do le den na ko hatta ta ya ma bari giving the preparedness na doktoro la paro kamba ya mari taste boro ni na ni da di la ya mari la kabati man na mo fula ko mo kan men su jaro woni mo ko men fula de ma je jaro lo karona wol man ke kini ni da gile lo fana ke na kiba de woni kiba ta bundala GRTS ko kono ni do ko bunda ko no GRTS ko pour ko no ko men di wol fana asiara dalasi million mo ni do ko dalasi million kan sabani fe o fana pour yi kamera ko to san pour yi doram ko to san ni ala ko de ma ko so e kade ko na fa inde di ay karo de ma ay fana de ma inshallah na dia da are wo de tin na ko ngai tan nyane honorable minister fana ye jabiro ke kundin na na ko wala fakan na tamoni bulin yari bari comment ko sisi afa nyami men su jara mo wuli sabat wol ben na dana mo man problem so mo man ko batata ko su na man ke clean na ro ala tan ko bala ni do aja bala ka do wol fana nyata wala ko ni do ba sin na do be sare ni andu kuma do ba do mo mala men de mari men de ko askena mari ba ke kan pour que banko fan to kendi ala da malo bari ngamel lo wala ko de ko de tel ni nola iman sika ko so de tuma do ba de na kan na sala di ko ni ko na te ba man na ke ko ba de man na ke tendi men se malo ba sin di banko bari comme ministre a finani ko de kisis kan ne inshallah nda ko da mo bondi dale ka je ko de ko ba ko ma ade ba ni ada wo ko mo ko la e ka je ko lu kan de man de de ngala banko karo bele dul fiki de ta ha san do la matsawdo dul be je wol ta na global do restaurant ta ni ko mo be problem ko problem so man yabi ko ka man mo ka man ta ko ke mol bari ko la ha wala nyama na mo do nyama ni men yanda ma ma ke kan ne tan ko funda mo ba ko no mal inshallah ba da mo bon da na da ale bari na man ki baro na na sidan ba ko fala jan bari na man ta do minister ya idan no ko se mo bi jayi na tentu Gambia man sakunda to yalla banko nyaaro ko excellence president adama baro fana to yalla ba fana jeyla ba tentula na kontano ni kono do diay tan dilala de duwala fana de dagiro de banko be